Hey guys, what's up? I believe you guys will agree with me that having a good relationship with your stepmother is not that easy, and sometimes it even becomes like a rivalry. Now, suppose that you have Donald Trump as your father, and that his wife is just 12 years older than you. That makes things even more complicated, right? So maybe now you can imagine how our first lady and the daughter of our president get along, or better say, don't get along. You guys, don't move from wherever you are because we have so much to say about these two individuals. Oh, and by the way, if you haven't done it already, hit the bell and the subscription button to stay updated with our latest content. Now, let's see if these two are getting along or not. So, as I was saying, Melania Trump is just 50 years old and Ivanka is 38 years old, but that does not seem to be the maximum inconvenience in this strange stepmother-stepdaughter relationship. You will see it for yourself now. Ivanka is the oldest daughter of Donald Trump and perhaps the most spoiled one. If you didn't know about their close father-daughter bond, you would think that they're a couple. What? Well, we are talking about Trump here, so you might be surprised to know some of the things he said about his daughter Ivanka. Both Melania and Ivanka were models, and no one can deny the beauty of both of them. Also, they both have some influence on the president's decisions and support him in decisions he takes on his own. But the real question is, does the President of the United States have a preference for one of these two women? Is one more important to him than the other? What do you guys think? Well, on one hand, Ivanka is the only daughter of our current president from his first marriage to his wife Ivana, and on the other, she's the second out of the 3 children Trump has and is considered the favorite of his father. And this is no secret to anyone. Although both Melania and Ivanka work in the White House, the relationship between the two is too cold and apparently they rarely speak, only during the appearances and interviews that they have to do in front of the public. Curious, what do you think the reason is? Jealousy, or both parts maybe? I don't know. Which one of them do you think is more jealous, Ivanka or Melania? All of these rumors about Trump's ladies and his relationships stem from the fact that they're rarely seen together and that they also rarely speak to each other. When in an interview in 2016, Melania was asked about what her relationship with her husband's children was like, and she replied that she does not act as the stepmother of the kids since they were quite grown up, but rather as a friend in case they needed one. So maybe Ivanka doesn't need her that much. Everything seems to indicate that things around the White House are not quite right. However, according to a body language expert, Bruce Durham, Ivanka and Melania's body language indicate that Ivanka looks at her stepmother with admiration and even as a mother figure. So does this mean that we have misinterpreted those silences and that coldness? As manifested in Ivanka's body language, she seems to search to Melania for security and orientation. But what about the jealousy we talked about earlier? Well, that's very strange. Maybe we need a hacker to help us find out the truth. The body language expert says that everything indicates that they don't want to be as two women who are having power struggles. And maybe they're also using a body language expert to teach them how to trick us. So maybe that's it. What do you guys think, huh? As for the power struggle, the first trip that Melania made alone to help people in need was to Africa. But do you know exactly where? To the same place as Ivanka, of course. This is a mere coincidence, I'm sure, and the First Lady was the first to present overproduced clips of her events for the public, and now Ivanka also makes her own short films, without voices, without background music, and on presidential trips when Melania Trump goes, Ivanka's profile drops considerably, but when the First Lady is away, Trump's favorite takes a firm step forward. And then there's this kind of like weird dynamic that has left Ivanka and Melania fighting over Trump's attention or something. Already in the Trump presidential campaign, the family life of both took a 180-degree turn. Melania was no longer interested in making all the trips that her husband, the future president at the time, made in his campaign. She wanted to stay out of everything and keep a distance from all the fuss that a political campaign can generate. So there Donald gave his daughter the go-ahead nod to participate. So Ivanka entered the scene, feeling like a fish in the water when speaking in the public and being in the spotlight. And that's how she somehow replaced Melania. The president's daughter put on her outfit, moved to Washington, and her dad quickly found her an office for her right next to dad's office, and that's how Ivanka became one of the strongest and most well-known female faces in the family. She began to get involved to the point of becoming the president's main advisor and began to work on issues such as advocacy for women and the family, and issues that are generally discussed by the first ladies. Making use of her speaking techniques and being as photogenic as she is, Ivanka posted a video on social media saying that the most important investment that could be made as a country was to invest in the next generation of Americans, and that through the tax code, that they were already doing it. And in addition, she learned to handle herself in the media, filtering her participation or the lack of it, just like her dad. This relationship, which could be classified as rare between Melania and Ivanka, intensified when both fought to have recognition as to whom had changed the opinion of the President of the United States in one of the most controversial decisions that he made. Did you know which decision am I talking about? Yeah, the controversial decision to separate the children from their parents at the border. As soon as images of the children separating from their parents invaded social networks, Melania, according to a reliable source, told her husband that this zero-tolerance policy should end immediately, and she organized a trip and told her husband that she was going to Texas, and in no time, she was in McAllen, Texas to see what was happening there with her own eyes. Until Trump ended that policy, Melania wasn't going anywhere. But Melania was not the only one trying to convince Trump not to be silly. At the same time, Ivanka was letting the media know that she herself was trying to convince her father to end that policy that only he could execute. And likewise, despite her attempts, and in the midst of all this, Ivanka made a serious mistake of uploading photos of her family on her Twitter and Instagram. This happened while social media was flooded with heartbreaking photos of families being cruelly separated. And of course, it wasn't long before critics came out to criticize her and to say that Ivanka was living inside a bubble. And to be honest, they're not really wrong, don't you think? Finally, when President Trump said that he would end the zero-tolerance policy, he thanked both his wife and daughter, and although he named Ivanka first in the order of what led him to make that decision, why do you think that he went with that order? Is it just natural, a father's love for his daughter? Or does it have to do more with very rare comments Mr. Trump's made about his own daughter? I'm going to tell you about that right now. The current president of the United States has a long history of misogynistic comments, but if we add those comments about his daughter, everything changes completely. Back in 2005, keep in mind that he was in a relationship with Melania at that time, and the Washington Post published audio of him flaunting how women let him do what he wants with them because he's a celebrity. And here's a part of what he said. "I better use some Tic Tacs in case I start kissing her. You know, I'm automatically attracted to beautiful. I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. Just kiss. I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything. Grab them by the and you can do that." Later, he gave a statement in which he apologized, of course, but what he did not apologize for is what he said about the figure of his daughter. In 2006, in a radio interview with Howard Stern, the host of the show said that Ivanka seemed more voluptuous than ever and asked Donald if it was possible that she had implants, and Trump, instead of being uncomfortable with such a question, simply answered that she's actually always been very voluptuous. She's tall, she's almost 6 feet tall, and she's been an amazing beauty. I'm not really sure what kind of bond these two have, but I don't really think a father would ever say something like that about his daughter. What do you guys think? Isn't that a little creepy? And that was not the first time though. 2 years before that interview, in 2004, on another occasion with Stern while talking about his daughter, Howard Stern said, "By the way, can I say this? A piece of ass. Just imagine someone talking about your daughter like that in front of you. And imagine you're cool with it? Or imagine someone talks about you like this in front of your dad. How would you react? I mean, it's just a little awkward." We could make a long video with all of Trump's perfunctory comments, but I don't think I'll be able to talk about that. Like when in 2002, always in interviews with Howard Stern, Trump spoke of Melania being at an ideal age for a woman, since she was 30 years old. And when asked about 35, he said, "What is at 35? It's called checkout time." This guy certainly does not think about what he says. Donald Trump is not afraid to talk about voluptuous women. He's even said on one occasion that he has no age limits when dating women. Of course, he would not be with a minor, but this limit of age is 1 year after he married the beautiful Melania. I know you may be wondering, why is this man still thinking about women? I don't know either, to be honest. Anyways, what do you guys think? Who affects Donald Trump more when he's making decisions? Is it Ivanka or Melania? What do you think of the competition between the two Trump ladies over the president? Does he listen to Ivanka or Melania more? Do people see Ivanka as the First Lady or Melania? Let's talk about all of this in the comments. And I'm really curious to know what you guys think. And also, remember to like, share, and become part of our Curious Sips family by subscribing to our channel. And also, don't forget about our Instagram account. So until next time.